Sexy People Podcast. I'm Dan Frigolette. I'm here with my guest, Lil Babs. Thank you for being here.
No, yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Give us like a quick intro to you and your content. What's the best way to describe? Sum yourself up in a minute.
Okay, I mean, basically, I just do OnlyFans. I do a few shoots. I do any content that anyone asks me for.
Okay, so customs and OnlyFans. How did you find
Mhm.
yourself in this OnlyFans world at this stage of of Earth?
I always kind of wanted to do sex work. Like that was something that I've known I wanted to do my entire life, pretty
No
much.
shit.
So it just, yeah, no.
Wait,
So
wait.
it just
So
so
wait. So
happened
what?
that
So what
OnlyFans was a
age
good
do
thing.
you start going? I'm going to be a sex worker.
Probably like 12.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. In middle school, I knew for a fact I would be a porn star.
No
I just
shit.
always thought it was cool.
Really? Okay, so wait, so who did you do like idolize somebody when you're 12? Like how do you know I don't want to it's like sound weird or naive, but like how do you know what porn is? What is your sexual experience level at 12? How did all of these things culminate to make you like interested in this?
Oh God. I found. I was always just on the internet. Like, I found it by like those browsers memes like on iFunny because I had iFunny at the time, and I don't know. I didn't have a specific person that I liked, but I used to like do like role plays.
Really?
Um, yeah, kind of embarrassing, but yeah, I used to have like a little My Little Pony account and would role play with people online.
No shit.
And
Wait, at how wait,
yeah,
wait, are we breaking any laws? Like at how old were you doing this stuff? This is non-sexual role play.
yeah, I was also doing like sexual role play. So I
Okay.
don't know if that's technically because I wasn't sending any pictures of myself
Right.
or anything. It was just pure
I
like
don't know. I don't
texting.
know what it would take. I don't know what the law is. How old do you have to be like a sexed worker? You know, I don't know what that age would be. Wait, so you were what? You're 12, 13, 14, and you're having highly
Mhm.
sexual conversations with strangers on the internet.
Yeah, mostly through like Instagram and Kick. I had Kick at the time.
Yeah, I remember Kick. Kick was Kick. I didn't know, but anytime anybody would send me their Kick, I was like, oh, this is gonna be we're gonna be doing nudes soon. Like Kick took the place of like Snapchat immediately. Is Kick still a
Yeah,
thing?
pretty much. It is
You still
still
kick
kind
people?
of. Yeah, I think people are bringing it back.
Wait, so how old are you now?
18.
You are 18. And so how long have you had your account?
Hmm. Just like a few months.
Okay. All right. Is it everything you anticipated it to be?
Um, it's way more work than I ever thought it would be,
Okay.
especially yeah, like making this yeah, because it's all social media and making social media accounts is pretty hard. It's from
Yeah.
scratch.
Have you gotten canceled and deleted yet? Have you had the
Um,
joy of that yet?
yeah, on TikTok, I've gotten my TikTok banned.
Really? What did you
Mhm.
wait, you got them taken down or you had to lost the whole account?
I lost the whole account.
What were you doing that TikTok was not happy with?
I went on a live. Yeah, it's probably mostly my fault because I did direct people to Twitter from my live because someone asked me if they could send me like a dick pic, and I was like, well, you can do that on my Twitter.
Oh, are you not allowed to send
So
people away? Or is it
I
the
don't know.
fact
I
that they
think
said that thing and you specifically sent it there?
yeah, I think it was more just that I was like saying the word dick to be
Right. Oh, you
honest.
said dick.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah, not my brightest move.
Got it. And wait, how long was this recently?
Yeah, just like a few weeks ago.
Okay. Okay, so I've never, this is so fun already. I don't know how to ask the questions I want to ask. I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
ask somebody who always wanted to be a porn star how that works. Like it's not a normal dream. How, like, were you telling people, and then and then were you just waiting, like, um, like with a countdown for when you were 18 and you could post content legally? Like, how did this go down?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I don't think I really told people. I've always been very sexual. Like I
Yeah,
wanted to have sex as soon as I found out like what sex
what
was.
it was.
I just found it really interesting. It took me a while, like because yeah, I wasn't like as attractive as a kid, so it took me till like my freshman year of high school to finally have sex,
So
and then
wait,
I
so
realized like I
so how
liked it.
old is that?
I don't know, 15
So this is so funny.
or 14.
No one would imagine you having a hard time getting laid, and it's just so funny because like the fans of you can completely relate to that idea because like
Mhm.
as soon as we're like able as boys to like figure out what's going on down there, we're like bombarded with this idea that like there should be sex or we could have sex, and then like then that next step comes where like we're never going to be able to figure out how to let someone um let us fuck them. And so it's just so funny that you had to deal with that same issue, which nobody, I don't think nobody believes you, by the way. So, um, so you waited your 3 years from when you found out what sex
Mhm.
was till you had it. And so the content now, because of the platforms that you're on, are you doing mostly solo content? Are you doing partnered content? What do you put out?
I do a lot of both. Yeah, no, I have like a few collabs coming up at the end of the month. I'm actually going to both Las Vegas and Los Angeles
Oh,
to
very
shoot.
cool.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're even gonna have like an orgy apparently. So I'm
Okay.
like, I can't. Yeah, first one. So I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right now it's
right
just boy,
now,
girl, girl, girl.
so what do you say? Say again.
It's just boy, girl, and girl, girl because I haven't had any. Well, I have one, literally one threesome video. That's it.
Right now.
Yeah.
Got it. And so, what kind of content are you looking to put out this year, and how are you promoting this stuff? And I guess is the goal then, if you're going to Vegas and LA, is the goal to shoot commercial, shoot mainstream?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, the ones that I'm going to are just collabs with like other creators.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but eventually I might get into some more commercial stuff. I have some people like who are trying to get me some gigs, so we'll see. Um,
Yeah. The
yeah,
second you turn 18, people are for sure throwing opportunities at you.
yeah, I don't know. I just I've been mostly networking through Twitter and just through Twitter Spaces, and I found like I found people who are agents, and they've been trying to help me find gigs. I also tend to find a lot of my own gigs just through sexy jobs, and just kind of do whatever.
Explain sexy jobs to people.
Sexy Jobs is basically a website for any sex worker really, and it's just where like there's a bunch of agencies and like with different websites, and it's where you get jobs for porn gigs mostly, or like yeah, there's a lot of camming sites on there. Just any sort of sex work job you can kind of find
And
on that
and
website.
what's your goal, right? Like, what's your goal with this whole thing right now? Like, because you entered at a weird time. So like
Mhm.
if you were born at a different time, there was no OnlyFans, right? 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And so you'd be in a completely different spot. So right now you have the ability to like build your own audience, do all these things through the internet, do this stuff. And that seems to be like what everyone would rather do now. But I haven't met anybody yet who's like interested in crossing over to then shooting the mainstream stuff, because that became what people didn't want to do, because now they could be their own boss and they could do their own things.
Mhm.
Like because you entered the world where OnlyFans is the starting point. Does that make your goals different? I guess from somebody who just found OnlyFans now and is trying to adapt.
I mean, my goal is basically just to make enough money to move out.
Yeah. Wait, do you live with your
So
folks right now? Let's move out.
yeah, I live with my mom right now.
You're literally in your mom's basement making porn.
Hmm.
This is a porn in itself.
Yeah,
Is she aware of your life and what's going on?
yeah, no, she's cool with it. It took her a little while to be more comfortable with it. Like obviously she was just a little bit like, oh, but she's very sweet. She's just like whatever makes you happy.
Interesting. Well, how do you pitch it so that so that the you know the freedom of it and the expression of it come forward?
I mean, I'm still kind of my own boss, no matter like if I'm doing porn shoots or if I'm doing OnlyFans. Because
Yeah.
even the shoots, it's like I can just decide which shoots I want to do at which places, like I still decide who I want to work with. So I still get a lot of freedom in like that sense. And I'm not gonna sign to like an agency or something like that.
Right. Well, and what's your work ethic? You said it's harder than you thought, or it's more work than you thought.
Hmm.
So what's your work ethic now? How many hours you spending doing this whole thing?
God, I mean, it takes like 4 hours a day at least, I would say, of just like making all like the TikToks, taking pictures, yeah, making the solo content, and then actually shooting like anything with someone. It takes a lot of time.
So 4 hours a day. Okay. All
Hmm.
right. Well, and then what are you doing? What are you doing with the rest of the day? What would you be doing if you weren't shooting your porn all day long? What would you be doing?
I mean, right now I just mostly play video games all day.
Yeah, you have
I,
the whole
I would
gamer setup. Yeah. So are you? Do
exact.
you have like a follow? Do you have like a Twitch following and all that? Have you been able to build another like a separate following?
I just started getting back on Twitch, so I just have like a little small audience there. But I just mostly do it for fun. Like I
Yeah.
like Twitch streaming. I like live streaming. I think it's really fun to do. So, uh,
So this isn't a thing I've talked about because I know what the other platforms when you're getting banned and stuff. Is there stuff that you can do on Twitch that will get you booted from Twitch? What are
yeah,
their
there's.
bylaws or whatever?
I know like I can't advertise my links at all. Like even my link tree, I can't put that in.
You can't put
I think
Linktree because the Linktree will get banned, or because because it scans what's in the Linktree.
it'll see that it's in the link tree, and I
I
think
see.
my whole account might get banned. So
I see.
I just avoid that. But I'm pretty sure you can like talk about whatever you want. Like I'll say that I do OnlyFans. I'll say that I do porn on there. Like,
Yeah.
and I haven't had any strikes for that.
Have you been able to cross? Like, are you getting people to cross over? Like, what's the best way to get somebody to your OnlyFans right now?
The best way is TikTok for sure.
Is it?
Like, yeah, TikTok and Reddit are like the main two platforms that just generate the most amount of people coming in.
Yeah. Well,
I
wait? So how
don't
do you cross them over from TikTok? I thought on TikTok you couldn't put the links.
Instagram, you connect to your Instagram,
So you
and
go from
then
TikTok to
people.
Instagram back to OnlyFans.
Yes, exactly. You have
Got
the
it.
link tree in the bio. People find it that way, and yeah, that's definitely had the most success for me.
Okay. What kind of content are you doing on TikTok that is salacious enough to entice people, but not like tawdry enough to get you banned?
I try to just do just the classic, like funny, relatable stuff, like a little skit or something. Yeah, like I'll mention squirting or something. Like the word squirt won't get you banned, so I'll just like do a little funny TikTok about just like yeah. One of my biggest ones was just kind of a joke where it's like back and forth, where it's like, oh, you want to come back to my place? Like sure, but you're gonna need a towel. That's the whole joke.
Got it. That's the whole thing. I see. And then
Yeah,
that gets them to your Instagram. That gets them to your TikTok because they're
yeah.
like, or they're to your OnlyFans because they're like, I have to see this woman squirt.
Pretty
Um,
much.
yeah. All right. Well, is that the majority of your content? Well, how many photos, videos would you say you have on OnlyFans right now?
God, I mean, hundreds right
Are you putting
now.
and how many are you putting up a day? And what are you? And right now you're what? You're a subscription, paid subscription only, and then once you're in there, your everything is available to you. Or once I get in, am I buying more stuff?
I do pay per view. So yeah, you do like the actual like boy girl and girl and all that stuff is all like behind a paywall. Yeah, but and I do the subscription. I was thinking about yeah, no, I was thinking about changing that, but I'm not sure yet.
Well, so what do I get? So let's tell everybody what do they get. So how much is it? What do I get when I come in right out of the
Yeah.
gate?
Right now I post at least once a day, and I still do post myself like squirting and like just like all like the nudes and all that stuff because I don't post much nudity elsewhere.
Yeah.
So
So So how much to get into your OnlyFans, and what is your OnlyFans link?
it's $7.99 right now, and my OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/breakmebab.
Break Me Bab,
Yes,
because of
EAB.
Breaking Bad. That's a good play on words. I like it. Um,
Thank you.
so wait, so can we tell people where you're based?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Florida, and how much does Florida play into the content that you create, or who you are as a person?
God, I think yeah, I feel like my opinion is that the most sex workers come out of Florida.
Okay.
I just yeah, because I
There's
grew up
something in
like
the
Central
water?
Florida. Yeah, everyone's very unique, and they're all typically either very leftists or very right, and it just brews a lot of very interesting personalities, I would say.
Sure. Well, Florida's always been like a place where you're probably going to have to show your body because it's so hot. Nobody wants to wear clothes.
Hmm.
So Florida's always been a place where like showing your body is important. I don't even know. I don't even know if that means that body positivity is up in Florida. But I know that you know I grew up in New York and we didn't like there was like we're like trying to get abs for like 2 months. Like that's what we're doing. But then you go to Florida, everybody's always like ready to whip their shirt off. It's just kind of always what it's been.
Hmm.
So I think you're not wrong on that. And there's whole pockets of Florida, Miami, and Tampa where content's being made. So you're in
Hmm.
good. So you're in good company. Um, so are can we tell? I want to talk a little bit about like so where you live now. Is that where you grew up?
Pretty much, yeah. Like I wasn't born here, but I moved like literally after 1 year.
Okay.
Like I was born in Massachusetts,
Okay.
but I moved pretty much immediately, so I don't remember that whatsoever. And I've just been in Florida. I used to be in kind of more like in the like rural parts of Florida,
Yeah.
but I moved to like central Florida in like the third grade, and I've been there ever since.
So what city are you closest to?
Orlando.
And so how much does the mouse when you grow up in that area like make your experience of the world or like shape your experience of the world knowing that there's I mean that whole place depending on how close
Hmm.
you are to it is just this tourist magnet. And so like me growing up, I didn't understand any of that kind of thing until I like saw Times Square for the first time. So, and I know people like talk about the mouse a lot. So I
Hmm.
wanted to see your perspective if you felt like it shaped your entire experience growing up.
Yeah, I feel like people are just typically less judgmental like there. Like, like I have friends in Utah who are trying to do sex work, but they have to do it completely like faceless. But it's like for
Sure.
here, like it's pretty normal for especially now with OnlyFans, it's pretty normal and I rarely even get anyone who is like super judgmental or gross
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, so, I don't know.
But how did being in that tourist world shape your concept of like something about Orlando too is weird because that's where all the boy bands came out of. Like there's just something
Hmm.
down there that changes people's perspective of like I guess like being part of like a show or being part of like a commercial aspect. Do you think that that's true?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people definitely want to get famous here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know exactly like what's the big difference because I mean I've lived in Florida my entire life, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is a big thing where like everyone like I said, brews the most interesting personalities. I think everyone here is very different and unique and just not very sheltered about
Yeah.
themselves.
Have you been able to find a large sex work community to be able to work with people, or are you find that you're converting friends, or how are you finding these content partners?
Um, honestly, I had trouble and like until like I found literally one girl, Gospit, and like she found me just on like Seeking of all places. But other than that, I've barely found a lot of people who are actually in Orlando. Like most people
Yeah,
are typically in like Miami, surprisingly.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and then what would
Mm.
be what are the other ways to do it? I think a lot of people just think that if I can like water it down, I think a lot of people just think like, oh, you're single, you like hook up with somebody, why don't you just shoot with them? Explain why that's not really like the way to approach this.
Well, most people are like, because shooting is really different than actually having sex. So it's
Right.
like most people are like they're camera shy. They aren't really let into it. Like the idea because it is like more structured. It's not really exactly like it's not like having sex at all. they're not used to it. OnlyFans apparently also might make it so you have to shoot with other content creators, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Where they have to have a page that they can reference? You mean?
Yeah.
I think we're closer and closer to that. I think because I think even people that I knew that were doing content with other people, that some stuff was happening and things were getting taken down or banned, and so it's
hmm
encouraging people to just make solo content,
Yeah.
whether or not that's what people want. Um,
hmm
so I don't know what's long term goal. Like I mean, you're 18 years old. This is brand new. How long, when you set out to do this, do you think it's something that you're going to do? I mean, I know you said you wanted to move out, but that's not going to be the end all be all, right?
No, I mean, ideally, the goal is top 0.1%, and
And where are
like,
you
I'll
now?
do it. I'm at like top 5% right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's just like, yeah, I'll just do it as long as people will have me. Pretty much, I'll probably just do it. I might just have it my whole life, just because like I'm sure I'll still get some money from it, even if I do eventually lose people.
Right.
Uh, but
Do you
I
think?
still like I'm in college and stuff.
Yeah, you're in physical college, or
hmm
you're doing online stuff.
Physical.
Okay,
I can't do online classes. I'll just forget about them.
is that right? Wait, so and then before college, what were you? So you're 18, you just got to college. So you were in high school. You
hmm
did high school,
Yep.
and then in college. What are you studying in college?
Psychology.
Okay, interesting. How is that?
hmm
How are you finding? Um, how are you finding that that affects the content that you think about and the way that you think about what you're doing?
I just find it interesting that like most people who do this line of work have a lot of mental disorders. Like I that's honestly what I find the most
Are you
fascinating
finding
about
that in
it.
the studying? Are they saying
Just
that people that are sex workers are broken people?
no, just I mean just by like people I talk to
Yeah,
like on Twitter and all that, I've just noticed like almost all of us at least have one mental disorder or something, and I just
interesting.
maybe yeah, whenever I'm studying I'll probably like actually like do a study about that and look into that.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need some new studies. I think there's
hmm
a lot of old ideas floating around
Yes.
about who sex workers are, and I think it's changed a lot
hmm
because the old example of who would be successful in this business might not apply anymore because the people that might be successful in this business now might be people that like will read an algorithm and figure out how to trend and those sorts of things, and that wasn't something you had to worry about in 1994 or whatever.
yeah.
So that is interesting. Wait, so what mental disorders are you claiming?
I have anxiety, I have
Okay.
bipolar 2, and I have borderline personality.
Okay. Do you find so are you is are all these things manageable at this stage?
With medication, yeah, I like just had to call my psychiatrist because I need new medication, but
Yeah,
it can be pretty difficult.
sure.
It's,
Well, how far into
yeah.
your I mean, you're pretty soon. I mean, as we saw with Kanye, it's just a very popular example. A lot of people don't realize that they're bipolar until much later in life. What was your experience in finding out? And then how did you feel about like the possibilities of keeping it under control when you did find out?
It really did surprise me, to be honest, because I just grew up like thinking that I had depression, like
Sure.
for sure, because I didn't even know like bipolar 2 was a thing.
Right, and
Like
that's like a brand new name for this thing, right?
I'm not sure exactly like how new it is. Like I literally just found out about it,
Like
and
a week, a month, a year.
yeah, maybe a few months ago.
Okay. So this is post Kanye. So then you have some like what's the word I want? Like a person in the media that challenges our perspective of things. So what did you think when it first happened? Did you relate yourself to um Kanye and all the stuff that he was going through?
Kinda. It mostly just made me sad that he just won't go on his medication,
Sure.
and because I feel like he is kind of giving us a bad rep a little bit.
Right.
just going completely off the rails when it's like it is pretty manageable. Like medication helps a lot. Like yeah, it just makes it way less extreme.
Well, so explain that for people, because I still haven't been in a position where taking a drug gives me a noticeable change in the things that I'm struggling with, right? So
Mhm.
explain to us what it feels like to be unmedicated, and then what it might feel like to be medicated in this case.
It is just like on medication, I don't feel my emotions like nearly as deeply because yeah, like I if I'm not on medication, I can go on like a crying episode for like hours. Whereas like when I'm on medication, it's hard for me to even cry. Like
Yeah.
it's a
Wait.
lot
So
more
but
calmer
why is that better?
because because I'm like, I'm not a suicidal. Like I just,
Okay.
it makes life a little more manageable. I'm not
Yeah.
nearly as depressed as when
Right.
I'm on medication.
And then do you find that when you're on the other side, if like do you get the manic swings? Have you been in those positions?
A little bit, yeah.
And then how does that manifest for you? What things are you involved in when you're on that side of the coin?
Luckily, I don't get too manic, but I mostly it just makes me really productive. It kind of sucks. I think most people with bipolar will say this, but I prefer to be in a manic episode than not
Right.
because I can actually like I'll just do everything. Like,
I think no, I think everybody. I think that's what everybody loves, and it's like,
mhm,
and the fact that it comes with the other side is so frustrating. They're like, if I could
mhm,
just harness this one, then I could
mhm,
literally be on top of the world. I mean, that's part of the thing is making grand plans and thinking that you can accomplish anything.
yeah,
Um, which what's funny is is that the manic side is Kanye's like outward like persona to the world.
mhm,
That's who we've known him to be the whole time. So to know that he might be, it's interesting that that you feel your feelings too much. Um,
mhm.
that's an interesting way to put it. I don't know how I want to follow up with that at the moment. But that's interesting. But do you think being bipolar 2 has anything to do with why you want to be a sex worker? Do you
I
find
think
like through lines?
honestly, I think it's more just the borderline because I
Yeah.
like it's a personality disorder. I feel like I've always wanted to be quote unquote cool. I've always wanted to be an interesting person. And as even like when I was younger, and I know this isn't the best way to think, but I've always thought like sex, drugs, and all that shit was cool.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like
Well,
an
what's the
interesting
other shit?
career.
Rock and roll is the other end of that. So is it sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Those are the three.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I've always just wanted to be that party goer, that sex worker, like that
Yeah.
person who is just in my eyes cool and interesting.
Right. Well, and I think that's well. It's interesting because there's a large gap between us, 20 years between us, and so what was cool when I was your age has transformed a little bit, and that's what a lot of these movies are doing now is like the people that were the cool people are now the nerdy people, and it's sort of like reversed. Um, but you're still like lamenting for this world where like you're like a party girl around a lot of people with drugs and sex, which is more
Hmm.
like maybe like a 60s dream, right? Like they kind of destroyed that for us the 70s and 80s and 90s when they tried to add disease and consequence to drugs and jail time and all those sorts of things. So I find it interesting because I do think that the archetype for who's successful in your industry now is the people that maybe are on the spectrum and can like figure out how to just sit down and make content and can figure out how to like decode Twitch and like that whole party and be like sociable aspect has been removed from it. So I think it's interesting that that's still kind of um, your goal with that whole thing, um, or that that's what you view as cool. Like who's okay? So like who's your like rock star archetype like in your head? Who's the idol?
Oh god. I mean probably Riley Reid. I think yeah, I think if I
Okay,
could be anyone I would be her.
okay, that's not a bad pick. Can you tell us why?
Just I mean being a famous porn star, I feel like would just be like just amazing like getting like going to all these awards and like I mean, I've always, yeah, I've always wanted to be famous. I think that being famous is just it's cool, it's validating. It's like like you have so many people who are like who not only know you but also jack off to you.
Right.
I don't know. I just think
So
that's
that's an interesting thing. So it's like, um, so to some extent, the voyeurism is sexy to you because there's no way you could please all of these people in person, but you can
mhm.
please them from afar, and that's also sexy. That also turns you on.
Yeah, I love the idea of people jacking off to me. Like yeah, I guess it's also because I grew up struggling to even have anyone to like try to have sex with me.
You
So it's
didn't
like the
you didn't struggle. I By the time I was you,
I
I hadn't had
did.
sex yet. I want you to know. You didn't.
I was literally asking people and they were like no. Like
Well,
I
there
didn't
were
have a boyfriend, nothing.
right, but there was a reason you were 14, 15, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the people were like, "Hold on, I'm gonna go to prison." So
Mhm.
so so that's fair. All right. Well, so now that you're an OnlyFans, what do you think is gonna take for you to identify yourself as a porn star? When do you feel like
Um
you're gonna be able to like label yourself that?
I just need to do some more shoots, which yeah, I have some more coming up. So I feel like even if you do one shoot, you're kind of a porn star, and I have done a shoot in the past. So I don't know. I love
Well,
the
it's your
idea
label,
like
right?
one.
So it's whatever you want. Because it's interesting. Because
Mhm.
I've done other ones where people my age now are sort of like in this space where those are the people that I and you would call porn stars, and I think we're slowly starting to like diminish this phrase and get rid of it because it doesn't really mean what it used to, and maybe it never meant anything. Um, so it's just interesting to talk to you, and you want to reach that pinnacle. Um, Whereas so many other people are like trying to like minimize that idea and maybe get rid of it completely. But no, it's your label, so it's like you get to decide. Yeah, whenever you consider yourself a porn star, that's for you to decide, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you're
Yeah,
getting
and hope.
paid
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
do the things. Um, so I guess I don't know. I mean, what would be the best case scenario right now? You walk out of the house and somebody's like, "Hey," somebody you've never met walks up to you and goes, "Hey, are you Little Babs?" That would make your day.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, that's an ultimate goal to be
Yeah.
recognized one day. That would be cool. That would be cool as fuck.
And what else? You want to? So you want to go to the award show? So you're talking about AVN. You're talking about what else? Are you talking about?
Mhm.
What other award shows do you have in your mind?
Just like the Pornhub Award specifically, like
Yeah.
that seems like such a cool event, and like to get an award too, like not just to go. I want to get an award for some
Right.
crap.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that's interesting. What didn't I? Yeah, I've never been in a position where somebody's starting out and had these types of goals and these ideas and had um like fantasized as a
Hmm.
child about being in porn. I think but that's I feel like that's a world that we're supposed to be in at this point. Like, I mean, that's some element of why this podcast exists. Was even when I was young, when I was your age, when I was 12, 13, 14, I already knew that I was like overly sexual compared to other people because
Hmm.
I knew that like, you know, even wanting to talk to people my age about it, that like we were not seeing eye to eye. We did not have the same obsession about it as I had, you know.
Hmm.
And even as an adult, I remember bumping into somebody and they had told me something. They had something to the effect of like if they could have sex once a month, that they were like good. And I remember feeling like I wish, I wish that
Yeah,
would suffice my life. Like once a month, if I can only have sex once a month and be good, I would have a much different, much more productive life. Um,
maybe.
and at that time, there was no lane. There was no OnlyFans lane. There was no thing that you could
Hmm.
just be an overly sexual person and then find a way to use it to your advantage. We're in a weird place in time where, so, again, my generation um, had this idea that if you had nudes somewhere on the internet, that um, eventually you won't be able to like accomplish what you want to accomplish because they will resurface. Um,
Hmm.
how do you feel about that? How do you respond to that? I mean, you're from a generation where everybody's just nudes almost have no value because everybody is exchanging them. So how do you feel about that idea that like uh, it's this old idea that like, oh, what happens if you want to do something else, and there's these nudes of you resurfacing from somewhere.
I just exactly. I think that's really outdated, especially since so many people have an OnlyFans nowadays. It's like if we just take all of those people out of the job pool, people are not going to be able to hire anyone. Uh,
Right.
Eventually, I think it'll even be illegal to not hire someone just because of the fact they had like they do porn or they are sexual. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like completely outlawed because it's just dumb and it has nothing to do with your actual qualifications and like how you're actually going to be at that job.
Fingers
Just
crossed on that idea.
mhm.
Although with with the new legislation changes, I unfortunately feel like we're going the other direction. I feel like we're going to
Yeah.
start outlawing things that we've already like put a line in the sand, and we should have made that sand concrete.
Mhm.
But I share your sentiment, and I appreciate where you're coming from on that. Well, so what kind of timeline are you giving yourself to achieve some of these goals?
Um, I mean, hopefully, I just hope that honestly, I think I could be top 0.1% in like a year, maybe
Okay.
two. Yeah,
How what do
and
you like? How much information do you have? What more do you need to be doing to hit that mark? Like if you're at 5%, I mean it's all random numbers. They don't tell you what other people's numbers are, right? You can't track other people's numbers, how many followers they have, how much money they're making. What do you think it's
mhm.
going to take?
Just posting daily, like post like being on top of myself and like being on that grind. I always say like just making sure I'm putting myself out there on as many platforms as possible as often as I can. Really
Yeah.
will and yeah, like doing collabs, like all this stuff, like will hopefully lead to that.
Okay. Well, how many subscribers? So what's a subscriber goal number that you have?
God, I mean, at least 1,000, I would say right now.
Okay. So you're under 1,000 now, and you're still in the top 5%, which goes to show that. So, like, do you have the numbers? Do you have it down to the science where you know how much each person is spending on you?
Not exactly. No,
Okay.
like I could look and see like specifically, but
Yeah. Well, so
like
how do you decide what content to make that's going to push the envelope to get you to higher numbers?
typically, I mean, I just try to make as much content as possible, so that way, like I have it. Like I try to send the pay-per-views out multiple times a week. Like just yeah, like so that way there's something for everyone at every single point. I'm trying to diversify it as much as possible too, and do as many like collabs as possible.
Right. Okay. I see that. All right. Wait. So, pump the OnlyFans one more time because we're not gonna be able to put it in the comments anywhere.
OnlyFans.com/breakmebab.
Break me Bab. And then, is there a link that you can create that we can link to this? On the SoundCloud side, we can put a link up and not be in trouble. Is there a link that you can give us that will tell anybody who listens to this and then clicks a link and then goes directly to your thing that they're coming from this? Is that a link that you can get us?
Yeah, if you can do Linktree, I can send you that.
Okay, or no, but is there like a specific link that you can give us so that you know that it's coming from this particular source?
I think it'll track where it comes from. Not
Okay.
100% sure.
Okay. And then that way we know whether or not we're pushing people there. We want people to do that. We want people to pay for your porn. We want people to do all those things. Are you doing any other crazy stuff? Are you selling articles of clothing? Are you at that stage in your thing?
I would if people asked me for it, I would definitely do that.
So
Surprisingly, haven't had that many requests for it, but yeah.
all right. What are your customs look like? What are you offering people for customs?
I I will do basically anything that won't like get me banned on OnlyFans. So like
Okay.
nothing that doesn't break guidelines, but other than that, I'll say whatever. Like I have people to shoot with, so I can even like shoot with other people for it if they want that. Yeah, like yeah, right now I have someone who's asking me for collabs, and literally they'll text me throughout the day, like specifically what they want me to do,
Yeah,
and I'll do that, like whatever people want.
I like it. All right. Well, let's see. What have you found about OnlyFans that you thought was going to be different that isn't exactly how you anticipated it?
Mostly just how many rules there are. Like, I'm
Yeah.
really surprised. Just like you can't do anything with pee. Like, really? Like, or knives.
Wait, with no P, no knives. Wait, listen, because this is some of the stuff that I don't have all that information, and only as it intersects with each guest. So no P. This has never come up. No knives.
Yeah, no knives, no scat, and no public anything in public.
Yeah, we've heard
Um,
that one. Yeah, but this is all
yeah,
stuff you'd like to be involved in.
yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, I
You
mean
would
the
do all
public
those
one
things.
I get because
You
that's
would do scat play.
maybe not scat play, unless they paid enough. But
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Knives. What would you want to be? So then I imagine there's obviously no guns if there's no knives.
hmm yeah, just like I have a katana and I wanted to post pictures with that, and I couldn't.
You can't have any kind of weapon in the photo.
Yes, nothing in the photo.
Not even it doesn't matter whether it's suggestive or not.
No, yeah,
That's interesting.
just can't post them at all.
That's
It's just,
interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know that that was that was one of the things.
mhm.
I'm a plant guy. As long as they're not banning plants in the background, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, let's see. What other things you want to promote? Promote some stuff. Tell us about how to pay for your stuff and where else you want us to follow you.
Well, my Twitter is Break Me Bab, my Instagram is Break Me Bab X, and my Reddit is Broken Bab. And my Fet Life is also Break Me Bab.
What do you find on FetLife as a way to market? How are you using that as a resource?
Uh, it's pretty good. I typically just post on there once a day, put some tags on it, and just like I think it's gathered some traction. Obviously, it's kind of hard to
It'll get you
tell.
followers.
Yeah,
No kidding.
yeah, no. There's a lot of people surprised on FetLife, so
Yeah, I like that.
mhm.
I like that as a resource. Okay. Well, good. Okay, so what else? So you said break me bad. All right. Well, thank you for being my guest.
Mhm.
We appreciate your time. Let's get you followers. Let's get you all the things. Let's get you to the point where you're um, on your way to the Pornhub Awards, and then we can do the next interview after that. We're excited to have you move out of your mom's house. Where do you
Thank
go?
you.
Where do you go next? Are you going to stay in Orlando if you move out of there?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in the area.
And that's long term goal is to be in that area.
For at least the next 4 years, because I'm gonna get my degree down here.
Got it. All right, because you're in college, you're finishing up your thing. Um,
hmm
Now, the value of the psychology degree. What's the thought process on that long term?
Well, I'm eventually gonna move on to get my master's, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
become a clinical psychologist at one point.
You want to be a counselor?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I
Do you
don't.
think? Well, I think it's interesting because I do think, as somebody who's in therapy, I think it's hard to find someone who understands sex work. So I think to
hmm
be able to talk to somebody who's had that had that background would be very useful for a lot of people, because I think that's one of the things that sex workers go to therapy to talk about, and it's hard to get
hmm
understanding in that space because
Yeah.
you're getting a 55-year-old woman who has her
hmm
own set of beliefs, and so it's like very difficult to like start there and like try to get them to understand where you're coming from. So I commend that idea. I think it's a really good idea.
hmm
All right, so break me, Bab.
hmm
Am I saying that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
break me,
Break me
Bab.
bad.
Follow her all the places. We can't put in the links. We have a new episode every Monday. Happens at midnight. We're on YouTube. We're on Google. We're on iTunes. All the places that there are podcasts, we're there. And we have this video content today from YouTube. I know you're looking at a frozen face of me, but I promise that there's a version of this where I exist. Um, Drop a new episode every Monday. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Please spend your money on Break Me Bab.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this was fun.